We're back at it with Saheeli Sword Horse. We're playing some casual games. This hand is a bit slow. We won't cover as much gameplay. We're going down on the Multi 5 here, pretty rough. I'm going to choose to keep the Bring to Light as a reload option. Reflector Mage. Oh, it's a Soul Sisters deck. That's pretty decent for us. Luminarch Aspirant. Alright, so we're going to hope that they load all the counters on a single creature so that the Reflector Mage works better. So we'll just shock in. We're going to have to take some damage to get to this point though. Luminarch Aspirant puts a 1/1 counter at the start of each combat. So I'm hoping they... Oh, no, they're spreading it out. Alright, with this in line, let's get this blue source and Reflector Mage the Luminarch, because then they can't counter it next turn. They can't play it immediately. Then we can drop Saheeli, minus Saheeli to get a new Reflector Mage, bounce the Story Seeker. And then we will Bring to Light the turn after that. So, yep, that's Saheeli. Down tick on Reflector Mage, bounce the Story. This is going to go, so we might as well swing in for free 2 damage. They could kill Saheeli here, but they would have to sacrifice a Luminarch Veteran. So let's see if they want to do it. Oh, another Core Celebrant, so more life gain. We draw Valgavoth Slayer. Okay, let's just scry. Doesn't matter because we're going to use the Bring to Light here for a Niv. Yep, let's just grab Niv Mizzet. No reload effect in these ones. Alright, there's the Gear Hulk. So, we could very easily get to it. We need to get to 7 mana and have Saheeli at free without an activation. 6/6 flyers are decent roadblocks, so we should be alright to hold that. Alright, so gonna play Valgavoth Slayer, play another Reflector Mage, bounce the Luminarch to buy time, play a Biotech. We're just gonna flood the board here because we want to make sure they can't go wide. Vine Mentor can go away. This card has not been impressing me. I think this is going to be one of the things we'll swap when we do a next recording trying out this deck. So they're just redeploying their creatures, but we now have enough mana here to go for the full combo. So, Bright Glass. Grab Sword and Altar. Play the Altar, play a land. Play the Sword, equip the Sword. They have 1 mana, so they could have interaction for Saheeli here. -2, copy Saheeli, keep the new Saheeli, and begin the loop. Now, this could take a while because our opponent has a big-ish deck, but we'll see if they follow combo etiquette here. Big thing about this is, so talking about how I'm feeling about the deck, definitely not impressed with the Vine Creep Mentor. It's an interesting, fun idea to just make more treasures and effects to sacrifice, but that definitely feels like it should go from there. Honestly, looking at this, I'm kind of okay with the current setup. So we're just going to run it back with the same deck. So what I learned from this one is the way I'm going to do these going forward is we're going to give you gameplay, then give you, towards the end, give a more specific discussion point on something that I felt about it. So with the Vine Creep Mentor, a free 2 for 2 that leaves behind a body is fine. It's just the fact that I don't have a real way to abuse the food. So I'm thinking I'm going to drop them. Potentially move the Death Rites main board. Maybe run more interaction. There's a match coming up here where I've got another point about how I feel the deck is currently. I'm wondering if I actually have to go down on interaction. Alright, into the gameplay. Fable Passage, we will get ourselves a black. We want to cover all our colours. I think our priority is get all 5 colours before we worry about casting a Gear Hulk. So let's drop a Blood Tithe Harvester. That will give us a good pressure here. Blood Tithe is impressive, always has been. Play a land here. Nice synergy here. Now we'll use Saheeli to copy Blood Tithe. With 2 foods, this is a -4/-4, so we can take out the Core Celebrant, hit the opponent for free. There's a Skyclave Apparition. Okay, Play a land tapped. Swing in with the Blood Tithe. See if they want to trade. It's a good counter to Saheeli there. Teleport Circle. Interesting. And a Cleric class. Let's use a Tyrant Scorn here to just take out the Skyclave. So we'll get back another 3/3 so we can put 6 damage on the board here. Alright. I think it's a Bring to Light situation. Let's do another Niv reload, because this puts enough damage on the board to kill them next turn, actually. They might have mulliganed to find an answer to Saheeli, so see if they have a way to take this out. Does not look like it, so good game there. We got to combo once and use the aggro plan too. Game 2, can we Sword Horse combo again? Well, a 0 land hand is a bad start. 2 land hand is slow, but I feel like I can just risk it here. Bring to Light's too far away here. It's more important that we can interact and do things. Black-white leaves me to believe some kind of... Oh yeah, it's Aristocrats. Awesome. So, let's Fable Passage here. Just start covering our land bases. Remember, green and white are the priority in case we draw Gear Hulks. White and black will have a ton of removal here, so we want to make sure that we can deal with things. Biotech, make a lander, play Fabled Passage. Right, crack the Fable in the end step. Like I said, we're getting all our colours here with white. Let's go for an attack here, see if they want to block. They're thinking about it. Remember, this is double speed here, so I don't know what our opponent is thinking. Alright, so. They're going to use the Tarkavian employment, so I'm going to Helix this in response so that they don't make any tokens. It's a very good sacrifice effect, so we'll play the Biotech, make another lander, swing in, do damage. We can get our 5th land here. Meat Hook for free coming down, so let's Biotech. Crack some lander tokens. We'll get blue to just make sure we have all 5 colours here. There's another thing there, so if we crack this now we have green, white. I think it's worth running out of Saheeli. We can go for the horse line if we get blown out by removal. I'm going to hold up the lander token as a way to feign interaction. Priest of the Forgotten Gods and Voice of Victory is a really good deck. Alright, so I'm going to get white so we have enough for a Gear Hulk here. Cast Reflector Mage. I'm going to target the Priest of the Gods. Plus Saheeli. There's the Gear Hulk, so if they don't take out that. Alright, so we're just going to use Karai's Technique right now and use it as a removal spell. Karai's Technique has just not impressed me as much as I thought it would. I'm not as aggressive as a deck as I think I am. So I think the best option for me is to go with a more traditional removal spell in this slot. I don't think there's a good creature for 2 mana that I could think of. But we have exactly 7 mana, so we're going to Gear Hulk. And you know the line. Sword and Altar. Play Altar. Play Sword. Equip Sword to Saheeli. And start the loop. Now let's give him the combo etiquette test. So I'm going to tell you right now, this is where I get annoyed with this. I'm thinking to myself, okay, they are a graveyard deck, so the odds of them having something along the lines of a crazy shuffle your graveyard back in is pretty ridiculous, right? It turns out though this is not a raise your pass deck, as you can see here with milling a lot of the deck. This is a Sephiroth and Planeswalker mid-rangey aristocrat deck. Really cool thing. The reason I have a sour taste in my mouth, it's not, well, I lost, which is obviously, you know, we do get mad when we lose sometimes. But I want to explain this as we go through the sideboarding here. Somebody just check this with me. When you are playing Leyline of the Void, death triggers aren't supposed to trigger. But for some reason, Arena triggers all the death triggers. I mean, I could be wrong, this could be a case of the fact that I haven't played enough aristocrats at a competitive level. But it was my understanding that if there was an effect that stopped stuff going to the graveyard, it prevented dice triggers. Isn't that like the whole shebang with things like stopping infinite combos? And well, stopping infinite combos obviously because graveyard hate, they can't come back, but also they don't trigger the dice. Like, I swear that's the interaction I'm thinking of. But you'll see on Arena here, in the sideboard games, I bring in the... Well, not so much in Game 2. Game 2 is a bit of a wash, because we get the cursed... Anyone who's played Leylines know that the traditional curse of... Oh yeah, it's the 8th card. It's not your opening 7, it's the card below. The first card you draw will be the Leyline. But, so here's the deal. They, what they're doing here is essentially playing a deck similar to us. But I figured if I could cut off the graveyard, I could slow it down. But then all of a sudden, turns out that Arena thinks that Death Trigger's still go on the stack. And I looked online and I found a lot of people agreeing with me, but I don't trust, truthfully, all of it online. But I did see people posting in the, hey, this is wrong, in the Arena bug report. And the craziest thing about it is, like, everyone seems to say the same thing, I believe, that since the if it would die, exile it instead trigger replaces the dies trigger with an exile trigger, it should not go off. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, how is this happening? Alright, we did a full mill of their deck and turns out we can actually time out here. So it's pretty scummy of them to make me do it. So they failed the combo etiquette test. They failed the combo etiquette test. So, Bleak RLG, you suck. I bring in these Leylines, right? So, they don't do anything in this matchup. Vine Creep Mentor doesn't impress me. I'm going to bring in the Authority as another trigger to find. Looking back at this and I'm like, oh, what do I take out? I end up taking out the Death Rights because I think to myself, surely if I'm just hating on the graveyard anyway, I shouldn't have to worry about exiling individual creatures. This hand is slow and doesn't have anything, so we're just going to play it. Double Blood Tithe is pretty good. So we're going to start with a Blood Tithe here. There's a Fatal Push. They hit us for 1. There's a Waiting Announcement, so they're going to go wide with tokens. Play a land, play another Blood Tithe Harvester. Shocking another land. There's another Fatal Push. They're going to draw a card. There's Sephiroth. Oh, this is where I learn. Yeah, I'm going to take out Sephiroth immediately because I do not want to deal with those triggers. Pass it back. There's a Voice of Victory. And this is where I realized the problem with this deck. I currently do not run. There's a Leyline of the Void too late. I play it. In hindsight, that was a mistake. Should have Karai's technique took out the voice. Oh wait, no, they got the pump, didn't they? So yeah. Ultimately concede there. We tempoed off way too low. So just going to run this one back. That's not the point where I figured out there might be a problem with Leyline of the Void. So I go here and I'm like, oh, okay, this is slow. We don't have red, but Authority's good against an aggro deck that makes a lot of tokens. And then we top deck, yeah, first draw of the deck is the Leyline. That's the curse of playing Leylines. Anyone who's played them before will tell you. Reflector Mage, bounce a Zulaport, and then laugh at the triple Saheeli and no red mana in our hand. Yep, that's always fun. So ultimately, I'm looking at this hand, I think I'm good either way here. If I get a land, I can play the Leyline, which shuts down their deck, because they won't have any dice triggers. I'm like, oh, that's a bit slow, so I'll just grab this Yorion, hold back on the blocking. They have a Priest of the Forgotten Gods. I'm like, they will still get that trigger, but it won't be as backbreaking if they can't get like all the additional aristocrat effects. They don't swing in. At this point, I'm like, okay, so my options are pretty simple. I'm going to play Leyline of the Void. That'll cut off the Illest core effects and anything else they want to play. Then they play Sephiroth, and I'm like, okay. They gain life for that. They sacrifice and draw a card. Then, watch this. So they didn't get anything from that trigger for sacrificing the creature. But then all of a sudden, all their death triggers start working, and I'm just like, well, this is bugged, and quit. It's crazy. Last match here, it's a bit slower, this one, so we got more time to talk about it. This is basically a Dimir self-mill deck, and this is the key thing where I realized that, well, oh yeah, also, I don't know why, but they were the slowest player I've seen forever. You see so many holds whenever I try to cast spells, and I don't know if they're trying to just make people misplay, which is kind of one of the scummiest things I've seen in the casual queues. But yeah, this is a self-mill Fastest Oracle deck. So we're just going to let this run out here. But this is so in the previous match we learned that we need to run some kind of board wipe effect, because not having a board wipe, well, so here's the thing, when I played the last match I was thinking to myself, okay, board wipe error here, don't have a good option for board wipe. I'm sorry not commenting on this game, there is nothing to really say. They self-mill, draw cards and play Fastest Oracle, and that's a cool idea, and I'm very impressed they got to pull it off. But literally, like you're seeing here, they played so slow, it was soul-breaking how slow this game actually ran. Right. So, what we learned from these 3 games, one is that we don't appear to be able to apply as much pressure as I thought. Now, looking at it, looking at the deck, I was thinking to myself, alright, I'm running a high level of removal. Which, you know, does make sense. If I'm going toe-to-toe with an opponent, I want to be able to remove their key pieces. Like, for example, I don't want a Shieldred to stay on the battlefield. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, but then I'm having the issue here where I'm running into opponents playing decks that I just can't respond to with enough damage in certain situations. So, what are my thoughts going forward? I think I'm going to add... Oh, yeah, we'll grab the combo here in case we draw the Saheeli. We'll play the Altar of the Brood. This is where the problem comes in as well with this matchup. They are a self-mill deck, so a combo that mills them is really a bad idea. I'm just hoping here for enough damage to take them out. There's Demonic Bargaining, which gets rid of like a fifth of their deck. So, where do I stand on this deck? So, I am enjoying the deck, but I'm wondering if maybe it's not... It is viable as a Yorion deck, but I think the biggest issue I'm having with it is I'm currently torn between 2 things that I'm not committing with the current list. I'm basically torn between removal, similar to my ranked Niv-Mizzet list, where I have a higher concentration of removal and less threats, and I'm trying to play a more threat-based creature ETB effects for the turns where I draw Saheeli without the combo. So I'm sitting there kind of torn between both of these going, what am I going to do? Karai's Technique. I'm just seeing if I remember this correctly. Yeah, this is where I completely throw the game. So, go to combat. They have a Fatal Push for the Gear Hulk, so there's 9 damage. And I'm thinking to myself, what could they possibly have here? And like, they can't have the Spell Pierce, right? Of course they have the Spell Pierce. Oh, that still bugs me. Should have played around that. Alright, pass it back. If they don't do it this turn, we win. There's nothing really to say, like I said, it's just them drawing and they're going to just play a fast as Oracle because, as I said before, we're torn between that. So what I'm considering is, I'm thinking the Karai's techniques need to be dropped to maybe Vanishing Verses as the efficient removal piece. Like, that's the gold standard. And then I think maybe Tyrant Scorns... Or do we keep Tyrant Scorns because of their versatility of bouncing our own ETBs? So here's the deal, I'm torn between what do I add and what do I take out. I need more creatures that give value and do other effects. Ideally, I don't know, there's something I don't want to... Yep, there, see, Fast as Oracle, passes. What I'm thinking is, looking at this, is maybe I add the Death Rites over the Vine Reap. I like Biotech as an answer to that. There is part of me that wonders if maybe adding... I need a creature, so what I need is, looking at this, in fact I'm going to, as I record this, I'm going to write these notes down, because I've only ever fought these. Let me get my notepad. So, we need to go minus on removal. We need to go up on attack. Up on attack. So I'm going to say we either do that through the use of token generation, or we go up on creatures. One thing I could consider as well is potentially, I'll put a note here, maybe Planeswalkers. Because the traditional old school Saheeli list did run another Planeswalker. I mean, Vivian hunt lines would be fun, but there's no combo line with Vivian that I know of. I suppose jumping up and grabbing more stuff would be relevant. We'll see. We'll see. Kaitos as well are another things we could consider. So we go down on removal, up on attack. We do have to sideboard board wipe. So and I'm leaning towards something like a Clarion, or potentially the Culling Ritual. But the thing I'm struggling with there. And then, so that's the key notes. So let's just move to what we're going to do with the potential things out. So out is a Vine Reap. And out is the Karai's technique. I suppose I could try the original Karai, because she's essentially a reanimation attack creature, buyback creatures. Yeah, we'll add her to the list of things we should consider. I will say, you might ask, why are you putting down an altar line if you're not doing this? Because I'm thinking to myself, if I can get rid of all their win conditions, I'll be okay. But they just demonic bargain, which means they're going to grab a win condition. So they've pretty much got it locked down here. Yeah, this is where I realize the threat level of this is significantly too low. So, big problem here, right? Looking at this, I've got... The opponent has played nothing but Fort Seizes and Fatal Pushes. And I, even with a hindrance piece like the Leyline of the Void, have not been able to put on enough pressure. So yeah, definitely... Karai's technique. So maybe an enchantment that does tokens. The other thing I might say is I should definitely... I still haven't had the lines yet where I can... Oh, opponent did concede. I'm guessing that they got unlucky with their stuff. I think I might take out Leyline of the Void. It's going to be sad to say it, but I'm going to take out Leyline because this does not do what I wanted it to. Out Leyline Void. So we need to add in potential things that do damage in those. Well, we don't have to stick to the colors, but we do have to consider. I'm thinking out loud here. So looking at this, I'm like, okay, I've got a Dryad Militant, which will cut off their graveyard. Dryad was pretty impressive. So making sure they don't have any ways to fuel their, what's it called? Making sure they don't have any ways to fuel their treasure cruisers is going to slow them down. Deathrite's pretty good here to just make sure that they can't get anything big back. Problem is they could still mill and reanimate a Thassa's Oracle effect. Alright. They're self-milling very well here. Wonder if you could do a budget version of this deck for the old... I'm going to take out their land, keep their count low, play the Leyline of the Void so we now have double protection against mill. Should have pressured with the Dryad. Well, I don't want to pressure with the... it's awkward. Deadly Dispute, mills 3 cards, goes to the grave. There's Shepherd of the Herald. Gonna play me a Blood-type Harvester. And I'm going to attack in for 2. But yeah, ultimately we just can't apply enough pressure here, which is crazy. The reason I'm doing this is I'm policing their graveyard so they don't have enough to play for a treasure cruise, because I was hoping that that's what they were holding on to as their card advantage. But they draw the Demonic Bargain, which means they're going to tutor for what they need here. Tap lands here kind of mess us up. Hit for 5. Another Demonic Bargain, which means they're probably holding the Thassa's Oracle to win the game, and they're just going to win it here. So, for the next time we play this deck, I might play the Historic Saheeli Kitten before I play this one again, but I'm going to look at these notes I've made here. So, we need to definitely go down on removal, up on attack, more threats. Leyline of the Void does not work. Sad face. So, we're going to have to look at doing something about that. And then we're definitely going to have to look at some other options. Maybe some counterspells in the sideboard. And finally, they've got the win here, so they just play it and win. So, hope you enjoyed this game. We did manage to pull off the combo twice, but we definitely exposed some weaknesses in the deck design that I'm going to look at for the next time we bring up this video. Hope you enjoyed, and any recommendations, I'll welcome anything below. I love this crazy brew, and it's my fun casual deck, so anything would be welcome. Thank you.